Welcome to the Kinemaster video editing demo for your stop motion animation. First thing you want to do is open Kinemaster, and then I would go with a 16:9 ratio. Go ahead and open up a new project, and then when you want to import, you're going to hit Media, and then normally you could use video. These are all the videos that are on my phone. I want photos though, so I'm going to go to the Photos tab. And then I made an album for this stop motion animation, and I put the pictures already in it. It just makes it easier. Then what you do is you just start clicking on each thing that you want to import, and it will import those into Kinemaster. I'm only going to do like 12 images. They do come in quite long for a stop motion, so what you need to do is you need to click on the clip, and then you need to trim the clip, and then you're going to slide it down to the smallest that you can possibly get. Do this with every photo that you want to be in your animation. If you do want a still frame or a title frame, you can always save that as an extra inside of your project and then put your title over the top of it. So I'm just going to slide the rest of these down to basically one frame. And so now when I play this, this should be an animation that's stop motion. When I'm done with that, I'll hit the checkbox and it's done, and then I'll play my project by hitting the play button at the bottom of that little window. Next, I want to put a title on because most of your work is now done. You've kind of slid all of your things down to make them smaller. So to do that, you have to go to the layer. And I'm going to go through these. The top one is media. The second one down is effects. So if you want to put an effect on any of this, I probably wouldn't. It's going to ruin the illusion on a stop motion animation. But this, for future reference on videos, you could put effects on. If I go back to layer and then I go to text, I now can put text over the top of any section of my video. So I'll just type something in here, something like the off-road movie or something around those lines. So you just use your keyboard on your phone. Once you have that, then it's going to appear on the second layer underneath. So right now this is floating on top of an image. I'm just going to slide this down because it seems a little bit long. But the other issue is that it's currently over the top of my first image, and it's going over most of my images, so you don't want that either. What I probably would do is you can also enable a background on this so that it's a little bit offset instead of just being white titles. You can also change the color inside of the type menu as well. What I would probably do is I would put a still frame, maybe my best still frame, and I'd make a long version of it right at the beginning, and then I would place my title over the top of it. It doesn't seem to have a plain background. Now there's also something called stickers in here, which you can put on top of this. They're not very interesting, but if you want to do that, you can. It's going to ruin the illusion of your movie if you do it. To get rid of it, you just click on the bottom and then you just delete the sticker off to the side on the left-hand side. Speaking of this layers menu again, so you'll notice that there's media at the top, effects, text, stickers, and then handwriting. So this allows you to just draw on your project. I'm not completely sure why you would want to do that, but that's available to you as well. Now on to sound, because you need to have some sound effects on this movie. So what you want to do is you're going to hit audio, and then you have some choices. You can go to music, which I'm not really sure where these are coming from. I think they might be coming from Kinemaster. There's some free stuff in here. There's some premium or paid things, so you have to double check. Sound effects. These are going to be required. You have to have at least 5. So make sure that it's one of the free ones because you don't want to have to pay for this. So there's several categories. This one happens to be audience response. And then there's other ones. So there's cars, cartoon funny, doors, fantasy film, footsteps, etc., etc. So there's lots of sound effects that you could use. Okay, to play the sound effect, then you would just click on it to play it to hear what it sounds like, and then you would download it if you want it. So if you are needing to record your own sound effects, if you go to record it, nothing's going to show up. Same with internal. So really truly what you want to do is you're going to position your sound where you want to record it, and then you have to go back to that original screen and you're going to hit record, the record key that is in the bottom of that pie. You have to let it access your microphone, and then you should be able to record whatever you want. Go ahead and click start, and then it will record as long as you want, and then it will show up as a purple sound wave down at the bottom. Notice when you go to record it, it did put it into your library, so it is in that. Now there are some sound effects or things that you can do to affect your sound inside of this window. There's a mixer, there's an EQ, there's something called volume envelope, not quite sure what that is, reverb, and that will just put a small echo. There's something called the voice changer, which might be kind of interesting if you had actual voices, so that might be very Marcel the Shell. If you got the right one. You can duck your tracks, meaning that you can put one less than the others. You can loop, and you can trim in this window as well. Once you're satisfied, then you would go ahead and play your project and then export. So let's now talk a little bit about how some of the other features inside Kinemaster. So on the left-hand side, there's another menu, and it starts at the top with that little arrow, which brings you back to the main screen of projects. And then there's some kind of rewind and fast forward, and then there's capture and save, capture and add a clip. If you go into project settings, there's audio settings, video settings, and editing settings. One of the things you might want to do before you do this is change your default duration of a photo clip down to 0.1, and that means it's a frame. So that way you could just import your objects in there, and then you wouldn't need to slide the slider bar down. That would be just an easy, quick fix for that. Now if we were going to export, I'm going to hit export, and I'm going to go to, I really do want to send it out as a 30 frames a second. You have to hit export, and then it'll ask you what resolution you want and what frame rate you want. I would stay with 30 frames a second, and then I would stay with 1080p. After you hit export, you have to hit share. It's in the top right hand corner, and then you have to choose drive, unless you want to share it to someone in a text message or some other place. And then you would retitle it if you want. Go ahead and share it to Google Drive. Make sure you select the correct folder. Once you have the correct folder, then you're just going to upload.